Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Covert Go Blue's interesting list that he ended up crafting after he was playing against it on the ladder. He said, I believe, I could be wrong, don't fight me over this, but I believe he said he was playing blue-white control, climbing the ladder, and then he ended up getting crushed by a cursed recording deck. But just like he took it upon himself to build a list after something he saw on the ladder, we took it upon ourselves to steal his list. Seize the spoils, if you would. We're thieves. We are stealing his deck list. But outside of that, I'm going to stop being cringe, and we're going to talk about it. Curse Recording is an artifact for 2 red and 2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a time counter on Curse Recording. Then if there are 7 or more time counters on it, remove those counters and deal 20 damage to us. It just so happens to be the exact starting life total that we begin the game with, and we have no way to gain life. So whenever this triggers the 7th time, we are effectively dead, but that is not generally going to happen with some other spells we have in our deck. Why are we playing this? Artifacts, as you know, can be tapped immediately. So for free here, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. So we can either do effects like Seize the Spoils, where we can discard a card and draw 2 cards and then have it trigger again. So Seize the Spoils at the end of the day will be a discard 1, draw 4, make 2 treasure tokens, which is very, very nice there. But what are we doing with Curse Recording that's so good? Well, let's make a ton of copies of it, whether that is with a 3 steps ahead using its middle mode to create a token as a copy of target artifact or a creature you control. In this case, it's going to be an artifact, or using Season of Weaving, using the middle mode as well, conveniently enough, twice, or using the middle mode and the bottom mode, as that will come up throughout the video, where it is very good there. And this also helps us from dying to our Curse Recording, as return each non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. However, this resolves in a descending order, so when we use choose an artifact or creature we control, create a token that's a copy of it, it'll actually make a Curse Recording token before we have to pick it back up and put it in our hand. This is a way to get a lot of copies. And then because we can activate Curse Recording for free, the Season of Weaving will then happen again, or the 3 steps will happen again, and then we can make like extra copies of Curse Recording, very quickly get up to 4 and 5 copies of this. And 5 just so happens to be the magic number when we talk about Burst Lightning. If we can kick this here for its kicker 4 and 1 red, we are able to have it deal 4 damage. 4 times 5 is 20. That so happens to be our opponent's starting life total, and we can get there pretty easily that way. Other than that, it's about staying alive, wiping the board, and drawing a lot of cards. Whether that is using Torch the Tower, who conveniently has a bargain mode on it that we can sacrifice a recording if it gets too high. A Change the Equation, which aggro is obviously going to be one of our worst matchups, and it just so happens to counter most of anything the Pixie decks are playing. It just only reaches higher if it's a red or green spell, but 2 mana pretty much can absorb a lot of things that even the Esper Pixie decks are playing, so that's very nice there. 1 copy of Negate to round out the deck. Don't want to play too many copies of Negates, especially in best of 1, as it can be a dead card, and we have to rely on discard effects to get away from it. Flick Sequence here, a very fun card, a blue and a red. Deal 2 damage to any target. If you cast another spell this turn, draw a card, so oftentimes our turn's going to start off by Torch the Tower or something, and then activating this, and then casting Slick Sequence to use it as a draw. We've had this draw like 5 or 6 cards. We use this to end the game, casting 3 separate copies for, I believe, like 16 or 18 copies of this on the stack at one point. So it's very, very interesting and fun. And then we have the round out card in Ill-Time Explosion, which can either be just 4 mana draw 2, 4 mana draw 4, 4 mana draw 6, discard 4, wipe the board. There are so many ways that this card gets used in this deck, which is kind of troublesome. The only last note I'll really say is I put in 2 Thundering Falls after talking about it in the outro. There was 4 basics each, but I kept running into monocolored decks, so Demolition Field wasn't able to be used, so I felt obligated to add more multicolored lands. So I didn't just have the awkward 1 island and 3 colorless lands happening as often. That happened in the outro, didn't necessarily do it throughout the video. So Thundering Falls is a special guest card right now that you will not see throughout the video. But with that said, let's dive in. This deck is really, really fun to play. It is also horrifying to play, as Curse Mirror is a scary card to have on the battlefield and try to not die to. So, with that said, let's go ahead and game. Okie boy. Okie dokie. Sure. This can counter target spell with like low mana value. So it's not necessarily like a dead card here, so we'll definitely latch on. And look, we get the perfect matchup for it. Smile. We have a blast zone. We have a second blast zone. Let's play the demo field out. Looks like they're just going to be mono red. So we'll see. Yeah. The monster trades, we're definitely absorbing it. Do we just take this value? I think so, because we're most likely holding a counter spell up next turn anyway. I mean, we could have selected either mode. I guess it didn't really matter what mode I selected there. Now we have a 3 steps ahead, so we can counter something else. That's what it comes down to. Second, the second Swift Spear doesn't matter as much because we just blast zone and then blow them both up next turn, right? We go for another burn spell here. We just like kind of tank it or do whatever we need to do. Sure. Here's a blast zone. You enjoy that information. And I'll win my turn. Don't fire off a spell there, which is definitely like a really good spot to do it, right? Because the problem is, sure. Sauce. Uh-huh. Some. Correct. Okay. Well, we do need a red mana. Covert, remember to put those in here, right? Oh, man, they've hit a lot of lands, too. Counter target spell. Obviously, can't really do much outside of that. We're most likely immediately firing off to seize the spoils, if that's what it comes down to. Or we'll hit another blast zone. All right. Enough colorless lands, huh? But at least if they do play a Screaming Nemesis, we can put a blast zone all the way to 3. Which, honestly, probably what we're going to do. This asks to pay an X, right? So this should be 4 mana. Yeah. We're going to put a blast zone on 3 just so if they do play another Nemesis, we can pop it immediately. All right. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about you later. We can't activate this as long as we don't have a target that has to destroy an opponent's land they control. I mean, that's just getting kicked and hitting us for 4. Okay. Little they know our hand was not good. Wow. Well, we have a mountain this time, so that's pretty cool. My opponent goes first. We're going to draw. 2 of our cards are castable. This is technically not castable, but I think, I mean, on the draw, I think we keep. I think any other situation we'd probably have to maul. Maybe on the play we'd have to maul because we're 1 draw less. Or more willing to keep like any 3 land opener over this. Our Burst Lightning ready. Second Curse Mirror, not great, but it looks like this card's going to be the route, potentially Deep Cavern Bat, maybe. Exactly. Fire it off here. Just don't let him interact. If we went first, that'd have been great, because then we could have countered Deep Cavern Bat, but then also countered the creature that we're not going to be able to remove, which is the Unstoppable Slasher, of course. This does miss that, which is a little tough. Hey, you can look at my hand literally as I take my turn. You don't have to stare at it right now. You can read it while I play. Arena. Please, like, I don't know, Can we pull up a timer or something? Being held hostage right now. Help. Yeah, did our opponent just time out for no reason? I drew a third curse recording. Okay. Yep. I now have more of an artifact we want to see kind of in the mid game than I do lands in my hand. Nice. Oh boy, are we going to lose this game, huh? Worst part is if they would just play, we're definitely losing the game. Yeah. Like, I don't know what the deal is. But, like, you're going to win. I'm going to draw the fourth curse recording, and I'll do nothing forever. Did you eat it? Like, we don't have to be salty about it. Or we're just going to sit here and stare. I don't know, dude. Sure, man. Diamond means that much to you. Oh, no. You played a card I can't interact with. Like, wow. Oh, we hit a land. Let's go. I just don't get it. Like, there's no point in which we have to, like, just play this way, but sure. We're just gonna have to go over the top of them. We're just gonna have to use these curse recording. Like, even if there's a spell that I, in theory, kind of need to counter, I think I'm gonna have to 3 steps ahead to draw 2 and then discard a card. Go that route, and then if they do play something, I'll have to use the Ill-Time Explosion to remove it. But we'll see, because our opponent is just doing everything they can to not do that. I'm gonna fire this off. I want lands. I found one. Discard a card. It can be a copy of curse recording, I think. Obviously, we could have countered this Deep Cavern Bat. I just don't think it's that important to. I do think curse recording is our way kind of out of this. Yeah, you can take the counter spell. It's fine. You knew about it. Sure. Another land that they don't know about. And it also would be another pain land, so it's fine to just play that, play this curse recording, and call it a day. Then we can double ill time and go from there next turn. So it's going to be like a draw 4, probably discard 2, if I had to guess. Like, realistically, it's probably what's going to come down to. But Bloodletter could come in. They could hit me for 2. They play an Archfiend of the Dross. Oh, it might be a draw 4, discard 4 now that I look at it. Sure. Full time. I mean, we definitely have to do this. I don't know why I said good game. Like, brother, you can leave whenever you want. I don't care. Here. Go. You only need a certain amount of cards, huh? How much does it just make a copy? It's 4 mana to make a copy? Okay. Sure. Then we can slick sequence this down, which is fine. Just have to not die, obviously. Alright, so we play Demolition Field. Should be untapped, right? We're doing this for 4, so we activate here. Do this. Do 4. Here. Activate. Activate. Here. Here. Draw. I have another one targeting it, correct? Yeah. So, face, there, draw, do the shenanigans. And then there's a burst lightning, so we're pretty close Burst Lightning right now kicked for 4 would be, so the original copy times 4. So, or yeah, 4. So yeah, 8, 16. We're close. Like really, we are. Realistically, we'll probably end up Burst Lightning just kind of like shooting spells around, you know?
Enough with the mysteries.
Player discards. Ability's not really anything important to us. We don't really care that much. I'll hold up the Negate, I guess. It's just better than change the equation. I'll keep the land. This triggers 17, an additional blast zone. I could obviously do ill time, draw a ton of cards, and then Burst Lightning. That better. Is deal 4 damage to any target, I believe. So I can deal. All right. So activate. Activate. I do ill time. It has to be 7, right? Yeah. Discard 2 cards. Decline. Decline. Decline that. Then now I can do. That'll go to 5. Yeah, that's a little tough. We're a little close. This here. Here. Okay. Season of the Burrow will save us. Or Season of the Weaving will save us here. So we're fine. Discard 3. These 3. Now, Season of the Weaving, I can bounce the curse recording that's close to winning, like losing us the game. That doesn't matter, I guess.
Drop it.
Discard this. Actually, I think it's just lethal now, right? So 4, 8, 12, 16. I think it's just lethal now. Yeah. So here. 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 And then one more time. Obviously, I didn't know if they were going to play a demon or not, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, if we had to, we would cast this. We'd bounce every non-token permanent, and then we would just like make an extra copy of our things, and the next turn do it if it wasn't quite lethal, because return each non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. So return to hand, return to hand, return to hand, and return to hand. So then they're just fully reset. But yeah, cool. We get that game a little bit longer than it probably needed to be. I might have made a mistake there too, but we had 28 cards left. Okay. Very sick. Very sick. But yeah, nice game. We go first. We'll definitely keep this. We have a lot of stuff to play. So Spirebluff Canal coming in. Torch the tower ready to go. Spirebluff Canal coming in. 3 more cards ready to go. We'd have to discard a card anyway, so we might as well just say no to that. There's not a whole lot of reasons to hold on. Then I'll play a Seize the Spoils. Torch the Tower is Slick Shot Seek. Maybe Season, I guess, because it is just by far the most expensive card in our hand. We do have a treasure in case there's like a deep cavern bat that we have to hit with this torch, but realistically, we're going to look to play this curse recording and hopefully it's fine. Sure. Huh. Okay. Sure. My turn. Now, the only real problem here is this town ain't big enough. Is obviously going to be a struggle card for us to deal with. Play here. Then guess we can just pass for now. Don't want to have to use my spell if I don't have to. Sure. Just have to hope they don't have it this town. Really? Sure. I want to use the treasure, like I said. I want to hold. They bounce it, we'll use it in response and bounce the and shoot the 2 otters down. Activate here. Torch. Make a copy. Then realistically all that happens is like our torch gets reset. Not our torch, our curse recording gets reset, so it's fine. Really, it's fine. I have a swamp, so they can play a Hopeless Nightmare if they'd like, but it doesn't bother me whether they do or not. Now we're going to do something weird where we pass here. I'd much rather be able to play the curse recording and then slick shot sequence, or slick sequence. I always want to say slick shot when I'm looking at this card. Storm Chaser is annoying. It's just like, can we really do anything about it? I can counter and draw, I guess. Like, take the thing that they want to repeatedly bounce and move every single turn away from them. Then now I can maybe play around it. Counterspell going to be bad here, so let's just offload that. And then we can play Curse Recording, activate the Slick Shot sequence, and then double shoot this down, do a good draw here, I guess. Please tap that way. Yes. Activate. Here. Here. Get the creatures off the board. Get a couple extra draws. And we're looking pretty good. Any target, if you cast another spell this turn, draw a card. Okay. I thought this specified it had to be the second spell at first, but it definitely does not after reading again. And this is one of the things. Oh, a whiff off the Thunder Trap Trainer and a concession. Thing I noticed whenever I played Thunder Trap Trainer is the problem with this card that I have in Best of One specifically is this card in Best of One letting you down on a look is actually detrimental, and you will you just lose the entire series, right? Like, you only play one game, so you don't get a second chance in games 2 and 3 to win. Whereas in Best of 3, this card's going to have a lot more value, because even if it misses and everything goes wrong this game for you, you can rely on games 2 and 3, or the decks are a bit slower. But this missing right here and now means I'm untapping with this Curse Recording, and they probably don't have anything. Say they have another Banished talent, I get rid of this Burst Lightning. I tap this, activate Seize, discard this, and then draw 4, make 2 treasures, and then they're never keeping up. But unlucky. We'll move on. Yeah, we'll keep. Go. Alright. Does Exile matter against this deck? It does, so if it is truly skeletons, Exile does matter, so we're gonna play to interact with that. If it is skeletons, it obviously could be a lot of things still. Oh, Demo Field, you're looking worse considering I keep only playing monocolored decks. Alright. You just auto pass. We have nothing to do. Okay. Sure, dude. Very cool. Moving on. You have a counter spell. We have a slick sequence. Our mana is okay. All right, mana is fine. It's crazy how just a really good dual colored land can make everything work out. Okay. Yes, sir. Land, go. Trying to see if it mattered, but it just right now does not. Can use the demo field for deck thinning here next turn. Honestly, I hope they try to offspring a creature here. Unlucky. Okay. We're gonna wait here, I think. We're going to pass. Ill-time explosion is very, very good. So I have a recovery plan post this turn. Should I wait then? I should do this on their turn anyway, right? Like I should just fire these off on their turn. Especially if they try to activate the cage. Go straight to combat, so I'm just gonna exile this. And then I still have my change the equation up, so if they do try to offspring the 1-drop creature that makes a rabbit and the other rabbit, and if I target things, bad things happen to me, kind of thing, you know? Now that's exiled, and then I can slick shot on the end step and then draw a card. If they waste a mana on this cage, then I'll let it happen for now. And try to remove the creature on end step if I can. Oh, exactly what we were looking for. Just thick. Absolutely disgusting. Now we'll play a blast zone here, and then we'll put a counter on it if we have to, so we can put it on the cage at 2 mana spot. Even though 2 mana is not necessarily the best against this deck, it's actually not that great at all against this deck. Sure. A lot of interaction overall. Kind of depends what my opponent does here. Even if they play a creature, I might have... Oh, that's the only one I didn't want to allow. Do I have to... Okay. Okay. Oh, we have to do this. Sure. Second 3 steps ahead is not great. Firing off this still time here. Okay, we have to discard one of these 3 steps ahead to deal 1 damage to 3 creatures. Okay. Play my tap land. I am flooding like crazy. Please don't do this to me. Sure, that makes sense to me. Sure, that makes sense to me. Honestly, is that... Nah, yeah, I mean, that doesn't work, I guess, technically anyway, but sure. Now we at least have counter draw. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I want to get rid of Collector's Cage. What do I want to do here? I have no idea. Definitely getting rid of this. I'm definitely looking to draw. I'm just trying to deck thin right now. They don't activate the cage, which they're trying to play around my removal, which totally makes sense. I just didn't do anything for the turn. Uh-huh. We have another island, so we'll grab a mountain here. Discard a card. Blast zones the discard. Now, okay. Oh boy, I'm living up, dude. I have a card. Name, first recording. Then we have to change the equation to counter cards. But I need my opponent to I don't know, win the game next turn. We also need to not draw a land, which would be, you know, ideal. We have 7 in play, 8, kind of count 9, 10, 11. Like pretty even, actually. What 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I mean 11 to 8. I mean reasonable, right? Okie doke. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. You can activate your thing. I actually want them to commit more here. If that's the case. The only way they can do it is if they activate cage recording on the 3-2. Or the other 2-1, I guess. I guess that also does it. What do you end up getting here? Shelter by Ghost? No way, dude. I mean, sure. To be fair, if I don't draw anything good anyway, it doesn't do anything. I'm dead because I drew another land. I can sacrifice this and blow up the Shelter by Ghost. A Collector's Cage. And then I'm dead on board. Nice. Drawing a land for the win. Very cool. This is always a weird one because this is like painful. I honestly want to throw this back just because of how like inefficient this hand is. Like not usable, is usable, but the mana is just so bad. Our opponent malts, so we'll malt too. And it just got worse. Okay. Sure, dude. Ghost recording on the bottom. I'm not mauling again. At least they're not a monocolor deck, so I can actually, I don't know, interact. No way to use this next turn, and they'll play the thing that's annoying that turn. So now we thankfully get around it. We'll play a demo field, and then we can change the equation. Hopefully the card is green. Okay. Very good, very good. A demo field. Thankfully, we can pop this, blow up this land. Other green creatures. If a spell or ability opponent causes you to discard a card, put that on the battlefield instead of putting into your... Oh, cool. Kind of like a slow card for that, you know? Does it... Like, it doesn't do this one. It's like good if you're able to just play it, right? But it's not like the other card. I should have waited till end step so I couldn't play another card, right? Sure. Oh no. Whatever shall I do? I should just ill time here, right? I guess I don't have a second red, so I have to. These. Blow them up. See, we did Demolition Field exactly the way we wanted to. We can play the second red 1-2 activate, blow up Mirix. I'm gonna play the curse recording, I think, or I just blow up their Mirix and then just call it a day there, right? Yeah. Force him to make 1 creature. Don't give him 2, because 2 does speed up the clock quite a bit, right? So it's like, don't even give him the option. And then we need a mountain here. Then I have to pick between Seize the Spoils and this. We'll try to keep. We'll see what happens. You just have to hope like 1 creature isn't enough to end everything. Yep. Poison actually being more damage here. Spirebluff Canal. Play the curse recording. And then we're going to do this. Make a copy and then probably draw. Well, actually, we should make 2 copies and draw 1 card, but make a copy, right? I can't believe we also played against Collector Cage just twice in a row. Kind of absurd. Okay. I think this doesn't work. I think my opponent has a Shelter by Ghost twice in a row. Draw a card. Find a way to remove this. That'd be best. I could use Season of Weaving to just draw 5 cards. I'm not opposed to that. I don't think, like, bouncing a Shelter by Ghost in this does really nothing, right? Yeah, because I just don't have anything to benefit from that. Yeah, so, let's just draw 5. I will play the Spirebluff Canal because nothing changes here. With the way our hand is, we can't really still get rid of that. We were really looking for an ill-time explosion. We fall short. Okay. Miss on the ill-time. Let us try our best here. The Evangelius is going regardless. So let us tap Blast Zone here. Play our Curse Recording. Activate Curse Recording. Play here. Get rid of this. Okay. Okay. So can we survive this turn? 4, 5, 6, 7. Activate. Oh, I'm just dead, dude. So tough, man. You can activate the Scavenger and activate it again, and that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, I guess 9, 10, 11. Could have waited, I guess. I guess I can now Burst Lightning something, which helps. Turn. Now we have to decide on this activation. That's what, 8 across the board, or 4 more? So that's 4. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I die if that lives next turn, because that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's actually, like, I should actually remove this. Tough game, for sure. And we're going to have to make a copy of this ill time. I did my math wrong. Yeah, I live at 1. Okay. It's at 29. Sure, dude. Let's play this land. Mirror, ill time twice. Well, I guess 3 times in total. We have 6 damage to do, so we're fine. Do it. 1, 2. Could wait, but I'm okay with doing this twice. Discard 2 cards again. Let that all happen, so now we just do a change the equation and probably a negate. I get a Curse Mirror back. I drew all these cards. Discard 2, I will decline. Yes. All right, can we live at 1? Smile. I have no idea. Doesn't feel like it. This is not a deck that can do direct damage very easily. Actually, I'm not entirely sure it can do direct damage at all. Weird. I can pick all these up if I want to. I make them pick that up, and then I can slick shot sequence this. Yeah, so here, here, here. Let us. What do I just like slick shot both of these? I guess. I definitely want to do this. I guess I can't, right? Which one? Chooses the only target available, pretty much. But now these are all reset. We activate. 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 We could also do this on their turn, but it's like perfectly fine here. Up these stairs. They are at 29, so the problem is like Burst Lightning and things need to like, they have a long way to go. Go. The torch. I'll play Little Silly Island. I will say next in turn. I'll discard 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5. Might as well keep a land drop to play, right? We haven't used all of our torches, have we? Our Burst Lightnings. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Counter. I'll get a counter, which is scary to say the least. Gauge, sure. Be that worrisome overall. Okay. A curse recording. I land. Pass. I can deal like 10 here. 12 here. Okay. That is fine by me for the most part. We'll just counter this. All these will get an extra counter. That's the only scary part. It's like trying to track all these and make sure we don't die to it is the important part here. Activate. 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 We have a lot of triggers, but the triggers are because they are adding counters to themselves. Click, 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 click. Okay. I want more lands. I love lands. Yeah, more lands. All right, and then we can just win on our turn. Nice. Activate. Now, do we have to do this the hard way? Yeah. But hey, we got there. I mean, 14 slick shot sequences later, we get there, or more than that, right? It was what, 6 there, 6 more here. A turn before, yeah. Oh man, Covert, you made quite the deck, big dog. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, right away. Based on the amount of monocolored decks I played, I would put more blue-red lands in. I fully understand the blast zones and the demo fields. I do. But I just kept, of course, like Gruul aggro and Boros aggro are like the most popular ways that aggro is played, and Demolition Field gets used in those matchups. But of course, I played against mono red, mono black, and then like it's just monocolor decks. And then when I didn't play against a monocolor deck, my mana was fine. So I just had to find a reason to use the demo field outside of that last matchup, where obviously it ended up hitting like a Mirix and the Prairie, the green-white creature land. So it has, obviously this card has a ton of purpose. I think the mana is fine. It's just I might thin a basic or two to play 2 surveillance is what I would probably do right away, just because it was causing me problems. So I'd probably do this. What's our meta? 24-20, so it's pretty even. So we just do this right away, and that almost to me feels significantly better. Even though it's not that big of a change at all. So I'm probably gonna outport this. But that said, I mean, the deck is fun, honestly. Like, it is funny and scary to play, especially the first time playing through. If you play this, obviously this is 4 rare wild cards. Is this deck worth crafting? No, I think, in my opinion, right now. Do I think it's worth crafting? No. But is it fun to play, and is the rest of the deck reasonable? Well, for the most part, like, this is probably a 4 of that. If you are playing any type of blue deck that has ever played a counterspell, you're going to have these. So like, kind of default think these are probably already in the crafting system there. But if we break it down based on rares, commons, and uncommons, outside of ones that I would recommend, like maybe you have, this is kind of in between. Ill-Time is pretty cool. Don't necessarily think it's the best card of all time. Don't think it's the worst card of all time. But 3 Steps Ahead is a card that you probably most likely always want to end up crafting. And then here, Blast Zone is obviously a rare. So like, you can definitely, if you even want more of these, you can just trim Blast Zone. Like, you can definitely do this, play like the basics back in, or play like for this if you don't want to necessarily craft this Blast Zone rare. They're pretty good when they're good, but obviously they can be a little weird and clunky overall. Season of Weaving, definitely feel like you want to commit to playing this for fun. These cards right here overall just are not worth crafting in general. Like, this is a content creator card. Simply put, it's a content creator card. Outside of that, the rest of the deck is pretty free. It's really fun. This card is horrifying to play because it's just like, every time I cast a spell, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to die. And the thing is, this is a trigger in response to your card. And you notice that this says 7 or more time counters. So realistically, whenever this has 5 counters, that's the last time you can cast a spell. Because when you cast, like, so say this is at 6, and I cast a Burst Lightning for lethal. This will then trigger and then put the 7th counter on and dome me for 20 before the Burst Lightning resolves. So you realistically have to think of this as having 1 less counter on it than it actually implies. So you have to be really careful about that. Now, with that said, just a really fun deck to play it in. Absolutely, it's super sick, but it's just horrifying. Outside of that, it's fun, more or less. I know I've said it's fun a ton, but I just want to stress that this is a fun deck, not a competitive deck, at least in my opinion. Now, was Covert cooking when he put this together? I know in the video, I believe he said he found somebody else that was playing something with Curse Mirror in it that bodied him while he was playing Control, and he came up with this. And I've tried playing Curse Mirror before, but I always had a problem, like, I couldn't necessarily get it back in my hand, or like, when I played it, I was trying to do it with like bigger burn spells, so I didn't have to bounce it to hand. I think it's a fun, cool way to kind of play it out, and it uses some cool cards that we don't get to use very often, like Season Spoils. There was Unexpected Windfall, I think, was the card back in, by back in the day, I mean like a year ago. There was the 4-mana instant speed one, or Season Spoil, not Season Spoils. There was like 3 of them that were like 2 red and 2. One was just happened to be printed in instant speed, so it was obviously the one that was played. That was always really good. And getting to use like Slick Sequence again is really, really nice. This card's always very, very cool, that I like, where it can deal 2 damage. Now, do I wish this card could deal 2 damage like divided among two different targets, I think this card would be significantly better. I know there is a draw clause on this, and maybe that'd make it too good. Kind of like a Fire and Ice, if you know what that card is in Modern. So, like, it is kind of whatever. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm going to call it there, and then see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.